Hello, my name is Ed, and today we're going to talk about tips for teaching English language learners. Now, this is something that doesn't have to be super hard, so we're going to talk about some easy things that you can do for your class, okay? First thing is try to make your lessons visual, so include pictures, drawings, thinking maps. This helps decrease the cognitive load on your ELL so that they can focus on the content. Here's a simple flowchart example of how to what to do if the lamp doesn't work. Okay. Now you could walk somebody through this verbally, but it's a much bigger cognitive overload. And if language is an issue, then they've got a big problem. But with a flow chart, it helps them break down visually what's going on, and it helps them with the language, but also with the skill or the process that you're trying to teach. So here's an example that I have, something that I've used in my classroom. So I'm a high school chemistry teacher, and we have a very difficult unit called stoichiometry, where students have to do multiple steps of unit conversions. So I created a train, which is just a modified flowchart with 4 steps, and they have to walk through each cart, okay, to solve the problems. So I actually created this just for my class, not with ELLs in mind, but I used to teach at a high school that used to be 80% Hispanic, and one year we had a big push for writing language objectives for every lesson and making sure that we were doing everything we can for our ELL students, and we had an in-house ELL specialist. So I asked her to come in and watch this lesson, and she asked her to give me some tips and also help me with writing the language objectives, because I wasn't really sure what to do because it was all math to me in my mind. So she helped me with the objectives, but she said, you know, this lesson is actually great for ELLs already, because the way that you're using the flow chart, you're showing them visually what they need to do to solve the problem, rather than just talking while you're writing. You're actually pointing to the images and showing it step by step. So that was something simple that I did for my class anyways to help everybody. That was already kind of modifying the lesson or differentiating the lesson for the ELLs. So a lot of these things that we do for our ELL students help everyone. Including visuals and word walls is also a great thing to do. So here's an example of a geometry word wall that this blogger, for the love of math, she's actually selling here, but she has all the different words with images posted in different walls of the classroom that provide support for the students throughout the year. Another thing that you can do is just use technology. There are so many apps there for different things. You can Google apps for ELLs, and you're going to have tons of material to go through. But you can use YouTube for a differentiation. So, for example, if I'm showing those steps to my students on how to solve stoichiometry problems, if they miss 30 seconds, they're really lost. But because I have a YouTube tutorial, they can go back to that and refer to it and listen to it as many times as they need. So that's an easy thing that you can do. Record your own or find something that's already made. The last thing I'd say is just promote a growth mindset culture in your class, and that will really help your ELL students as they fail and try again. I remember when I came to the US as a middle schooler, and by the time I was a senior in high school, I managed to get into AP English language. It was really hard, but I got in. And we were writing a paper on diction, and we were analyzing a poem, and the word faucet was in there, and I totally thought that was an intense vocabulary word till I looked in the dictionary and found out what a faucet really was. And that just goes to show that I was still learning, because I never had to use the word faucet in English before, because I lived in a Brazilian home where we spoke Portuguese. So you got to have a growth mindset. You can't just be like, oh, I've arrived, I don't need to learn English anymore. Your ELLs just need to have the mindset that they're always going to be needing to improve, and that's okay. That's a part of learning. Thank you.